Breast milk, a right stolen by a multi-billion-dollar industry. The Fitra has endowed human beings with their first nourishment, breast milk. Colostrum, the first milk produced immediately after birth, is described by researchers as the baby's first vaccine because of the immune protection it gives the newborn. And yet breastfeeding rates have fallen sharply in recent years. The World Health Organization and UNICEF have designated the first week of August as World Breastfeeding Week to draw attention to the decline. Their recommendation is that breastfeeding should begin within the first hour after birth. Infants should be fed exclusively on breast milk for the first 6 months, and breastfeeding should continue alongside complementary foods until at least the age of 2. Despite this, according to WHO and UNICEF data, only 44% of infants under 6 months of age worldwide are breastfed. It is this gap between guidance and practice that gives the Awareness Week its urgency. Why then does something as natural as breastfeeding require a dedicated campaign? The formula market. No single cause explains the decline in breastfeeding rates, but one factor stands out. It is the growing global commercialization of baby food. Companies producing breast milk substitutes no longer confine themselves to cases of genuine medical necessity. They build comprehensive marketing strategies designed to win a mother's trust from the earliest months of pregnancy, creating the impression that formula matches breast milk and, in some respects, surpasses it. A joint 2022 report by the WHO and UNICEF documented these practices in detail, showing how heavily marketing shapes parents' decisions on infant feeding. Digital technology has only sharpened these tools. Social media now serves as one of the primary channels for reaching mothers directly. Algorithms and personal data analysis deliver marketing messages at the most vulnerable moments of pregnancy and early motherhood, while influencers disguise advertisements as personal experience or genuine advice. In response, the World Health Assembly resolved in 2025 to expand efforts against the digital marketing of breast milk substitutes, a decision that amounts to an admission that traditional legal frameworks can no longer keep pace with these methods. Not even formula is equal. Look behind the scenes of the formula market and behold, not every child has equal access to healthy, safe nutrition. The widely publicized Nestlé investigation, conducted jointly by Public Eye and IBFAN, is a case in point. According to the report, many products sold in parts of Africa and Asia contain added sugar, while their European equivalents do not. Nestlé denies the allegations, maintaining that its products comply with local legislation and international standards. But the controversy makes us ask if the quality of a child's food depends simply on the country one is born in. What does Islam say? As the world mounts awareness campaigns to protect infant health, what does an Islamic perspective bring to the question? The first point to note is that breastfeeding is no stranger to Islamic law. 14 centuries before the world began organizing itself around this issue, Islam had already established a comprehensive legal and social order that placed the child's best interests at the center of family rights and responsibilities. In Islam, breastfeeding is beyond a health or motherhood issue. It is, first and foremost, one of the child's fundamental rights, and one of the defining factors shaping rights and obligations within the family. Islamic jurists accordingly adopted the principle that the right to breastfeeding for a young child is like the right to maintenance for an adult. Breastfeeding, in other words, is not a favor extended by either parent. It is the child's right. Allah Almighty says, "Mothers shall breastfeed their children for a full 2 years, for whoever wishes to complete the term of breastfeeding." Al-Baqarah 2:233. This verse fixes the duration of breastfeeding at 2 years, grounded in the child's best interest, a time frame modern health authorities have largely converged on themselves. Nor does Islam stop there. It refuses to leave the burden of breastfeeding on the mother's shoulders alone. It obliges the father to provide for the mother's sustenance throughout the breastfeeding period. It is incumbent upon the father, whose child it is, to provide for the mother's food and clothing in accordance with custom. Al-Baqarah 2:233. The mother is thereby spared the financial burden, and the family is given the conditions it needs to care for the child properly. From the verse's next instruction, that neither the mother nor the father should be harmed on account of the child, it follows that family disputes are barred from encroaching on the child's rights. The father cannot forcibly remove the child from a mother who wishes to breastfeed, nor can the mother refuse to breastfeed in order to pressure the father. The child's welfare stands above the parents' quarrels. The decision to wean is likewise not left to either parent's unilateral will. The Quran requires mutual consultation and consent. If the parents desire weaning through mutual consent and consultation, there is no sin upon them. Al-Baqarah 2:233. Once again, the child's interest governs the process, not the will of either party alone. Islam also anticipates the case where a mother cannot breastfeed, whether through illness or other compelling reasons. In such circumstances, a wet nurse may feed the child, and her financial rights are equally protected. And if you wish to have your children breastfed by a wet nurse, there is no sin upon you, provided you pay what you offer in accordance with custom. Al-Baqarah 2:233. Consequently, Islam provides us with a comprehensive framework that secures the child's uninterrupted access to the most suitable nourishment, distributes responsibility fairly between mother and father, and places the child's best interest above every other consideration. Breastfeeding, then, is a fundamental right of a child. It is a shared social responsibility that demands protection. Today, safeguarding this right from commercial pressure and reinforcing it through legal regulation, public awareness, and supportive policy is more urgent than ever. Read alongside the framework Islam laid down 14 centuries ago. Contemporary health policy and law can yet build a solid foundation for every child's healthy, safe, and dignified start in life.